Okay, I think we're already live, which is great. Yes, let's check it out. Yes, we're live. Yes, we're live. Okay, yeah, I think this is great while we wait for some people to show up. As always, I have this problem where I have no way to monitor these things yet, do I? I still don't have like all of the beautiful things that I should have, to starting soon thing and all that. I don't have that. Not yet, at least. I think I will have it at some point. I will add it, of course. In fact, I wanted to add it probably a while back, but I didn't because I decided, okay, I'm just going to focus on other things. I'm going to focus on the things that are more at hand, and well, those are the things that I focus on, and yes, but here we are today, and I have some things, don't I? Yeah, I'm wearing green tonight. I'm wearing green just like St. Patrick's. I realize, oh, look at that. I'm wearing green like in St. Patrick's. Good. It's a change. I'm always wearing black. Black's my color. It's always wearing black and a gray bandana here. But yeah, usually, yeah, I don't usually wear all the colors. I'm not very colorful, apparently. So yeah, that's... have more or less the same clothing repeated all over again. Makes things a lot easier. Okay. My wife hates that, by the way. She doesn't like that. Yeah, but yes. All right. Let's talk about some things. Let's wait for some people to show up at this little bit and talk about some stuff. Let's see. I don't think we're gonna have too many people or anything. I don't know who's gonna be here. I don't know. And first of all, I'm gonna say I am very, very sorry. I'm late again, but not late. The problem was that I had to change the time. I thought I could come here and stream at 8. Like it would be 8 p.m. here in the UK, and then I realized that I couldn't do that. Right, my wife told me, "Hey, you can't." I was like, "Oh no, I made a mistake there." Yeah, I had made a mistake. I couldn't come here at 8, but I'm here now. So I had to change the schedule. I forgot to change it first. Then I changed it to, I think I changed it to 9:15, past 9, because my wife told me like the schedule more or less how it was, and it was mistaken. And then I had to change it again. It postponed it 15 more minutes, and then okay, stuff we needed to do, and then yeah, okay, well, I'm here now. Yeah, it's just scheduling issues with my wife, and then we managed to figure them out, and I'm here now, and yeah, so but perfect. We're here now. Let's let's wait for some people to show up and see. We have some more people. We have some more people now showing up. Yes, all right. Yeah, if you're there, if you're the first time here, say hello. I'm so glad I'm back. Really, I think I was here last week, of course, for 2 days. I did one fairly long stream and then another fairly short one, I think. I don't remember how long. Honestly, I don't even remember how long previous ones were. But they weren't as long as others I did. And yeah, I'm getting used to the schedule. I'm getting used to, coming in and just talking. Figuring out more or less what time to come in, honestly. Yeah, I have to figure that out. When. So tell me in the chat, where are you watching from? What time is it where you are? All that. Just tell me those things, because those things help. Really, really help. And yeah, we're gonna start tonight. Tonight is a different night. Tonight we're gonna look at some And one little feature that I've been talking about here in the feature request channel, someone asked about something, and I showed a little glimpse of how it worked. So I'm just going to explain that a little bit here. And we're going to talk about one specific feature that I am adding for the next iteration. I was planning to put that in the title, but I didn't know if if I had put that in the title of this stream, I probably would have captured more people coming in and you know, and generated a lot of hype by talking about AI. And I have some thoughts about AI. Oh, hello, Sean. Nice seeing you. Nice to meet you, mate. Welcome. And Sean is watching from YouTube. Yeah, you know. Oh, wait, Sean. You know what? I forgot that I have the restream thing here. So there you are. There, we can see you there now, right? It's there on that side. Yeah, I was gonna use the other hand, but there you go. There you can see it. I'm not wearing my gloves tonight. I hope my hands don't hurt later, you know. But I usually wear these gloves for compression there, but not wearing my hobo gloves tonight. But yeah, so we are gonna have a little talk about AI tonight. I have my thoughts about AI in game development, and I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I don't know, honestly. I have nothing prepared. I don't come here prepared and say, this is what I'm going to say. Hey, this is my these are my words, and I'm gonna talk. No, it's just I'm just gonna talk. And hopefully there's people in the comments saying something about it. Hopefully there's someone there in the chat talking and telling me something, either in favor or against or something. But I'm just going to share my thoughts, my approach towards it. And yeah, that's some things we're going to look, but we're going to leave that for later, okay? So stick around. Stick around. Later we're going to talk about AI, specifically AI in games, AI in Rogue Engine. What's coming and why it's important to talk about this, and why it's important to be serious, and why it's important to be responsible. And I'm talking about all those people who are not responsible about this topic, and they're just talking and not being responsible about something that is very, very serious. Okay? I'm talking to you. Are you hearing me? Because I'm talking to you. Yes. These people make me mad. Yeah. So we're going to talk not about those people. We're just going to talk responsibly. And we're just going to say the things that need to be said in the way that they need to be said. Right? Without hyping up people about things or trying to sell the sky when we don't even have land from which we can fly our little planes. So, yeah. I think that's an important conversation that we need to have. And we're going to have it. We're going to have that conversation. And I don't think the right people are going to be hearing us. No. The right people, they're not interested about what I have to say, do they? No. But you're going to hear it. You're going to hear me say the things I need to say. You're going to hear the things that need to be said. You're going to hear them directly from me. And yeah, and we're going to be responsible about it, because that's the way you handle things. You need to be responsible. Right? It's not all about money and marketing, right? We're talking about people here. We're talking about people's lives, people's well-being, right? But no, we just want to make money, right? Yeah, just want to make money, just want to have a brothel of money making. Yeah, you don't care. That's all they want. It's sad. It's sad. Truly, truly ugly and sad. But yeah. So let's drink some mate. And it's fairly late to drink mate now. But you know, I can't go live. I can't come live without my mate. It's like, oh, I can't help it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just gonna drink my mate while I come live. And who cares? Who cares? Who cares? But yeah, Sean is probably very, very warm where you are. It's fairly warm here. Very nice. This is warm as 12 Celsius. I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit, but yeah, you know, it's 12 Celsius. So it's coldish. Okay, you know, it's a warm autumn in the UK, right? Warm. It would be a warm autumn because it's not warm spring, is it? Although it is spring, right? So. Okay. Let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about this little feature, the first feature that we're going to talk about. For that, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to open, yeah, but I'm going to need to do a little bit of a, oh no, yeah, I'm going to need to do a little bit of a cleanup here. Yeah, in order not to make a mess. You know how this is, always with Chrome. If I open Chrome, it's a mess. Always. Chrome and it's mess. Okay, yes. So I'm gonna. Florida is so warm, says Sean. I vacation in the snow. So people are going to Florida to vacation, and you say no. I'm going to snow. They're going to some ski resort somewhere, something. That sounds, yeah. I guess if I lived in Florida, I would want to vacation somewhere very, very cold. Makes sense. Yeah. It's also very humid, right? I mean, I'm from Uruguay. Uruguay is super humid, super humid, and one thing I don't miss is that amount of humidity when it's the summer, and you know you can't you turn into a fish. You literally turn into a fish. It's like you start growing bronchi at some point, you know. And I've heard, you know, my uncle, he has he vacations there in Florida a lot, and you know, he lives in Utah, and he says that yeah, he you know, it's way worse than Uruguay even, because it's warmer. So yeah, that's a complicated one. Humidity and heat, or humidity, well, and too cold, right? If it's too cold and humid, ooh, it just penetrates your bones, and yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible thing to happen. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen here. I'm gonna because I'm gonna open Discord. I'm gonna open my my Discord here. Wait a second. Yeah, I don't want to bring a lot of noise into the conversation, so I'm just gonna bring this thing in. Where is it? As always, you know. Yes, here it is. Yeah, let's bring this in here in this form. Like this. Yes, I like it this way. Yep. Okay. Here. Yeah. So. Oh no, I opened something else here. I'm making a mess. Yeah, Florida is perfect for weather. Yeah. Definitely like it's summer for the beach, right? For the beach. Beautiful. Oh, sometimes this thing shows me like I'm going offline. I don't know. You tell me if I'm still live or something, if I'm going off. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this first feature. I'm gonna be responsible to come here and click on screen. Yeah, there you go. You can see the screen there. Yeah, okay. We're in the Discord here. We're in the Rogue Engine Discord, and you can see that we have this little component here, this game logic component that I created. It has nothing to do with the feature that I'm showing here. But what I did is I basically displayed to Dan Ren, who created a massive component. Like, this is so long. I mean, it's a fairly long component. And for his incredible terrain generation tool for Rogue Engine. And what I did was, well, he requested, hey, it would be kind of cool to have, you know, separators and things, you know, to fold properties, because it's, you know, it's kind of a mess right now. You know, it's kind of a mess. You just add the properties and they all look, you know, they all line up like that, you know. And well, I'm in the middle there. I see myself right in the middle there. So I'm gonna maybe let's see. Can I? Yeah, maybe I can just open the thing here. Let me see if I open it like this. Yeah, let's add it here. So you can see, you know, like the component here, and how it looks. But yes, this kind of component, you know, with these properties here, you know, this one is foldable. You can have your properties all well folded, fairly nice here, you know, in a little drawer. And in this other one, you can have them like with a separator here, and you can have it titled, you know, separator with it, instead of just a separator, also have a title, and that is not foldable. So I thought it was a nice thing to add. You know, it's really good when you have a complex component that you want to have really organized and contextualized for people, you know. Something else I'm working on, which I've found that is fairly painful, is the tooltips for the properties, because yeah, sometimes you just want to tell people, hey, what this property does, right, without person having to go in and figure out what the property is actually doing. So these tooltips for the properties are going to be super useful, super useful. And something else that is related to this, that I still haven't faced, because the tooltips I have faced, I've tried different things, and I'm more or less settled with one approach. But for the next one that I'm gonna talk about, that I don't have yet an approach, like a clear approach, which is like little objects, right? Say you have an object that is I don't know, 3 properties or something, you know, or 5 different properties in a context within an object, right? You just want to have, say, I don't know, position, it's just to say something, right? And you want to have your position and have 3 different properties there, X, Y, and Z, right? Just imagine maybe it's something else. Maybe it's just something else that you have there, and have them, you know, as a and have the decorator, right? Say, okay, so like an object literal decorator that goes in each one of those properties and says, okay, if the property, like the field of this literal object, has a certain value, it will use a specific decorator for it. You know, it'll sort of imply decorator based on the value, based on the type of the property, right? On the type itself, right? It's obviously the reason I don't like it that much is that yeah, it requires this discriminator there, right? That for many of the decorators it may not work. Like if you have like an object 3D in there or something, you know. But yeah, I figured out that it could work fairly well. I need to I would need to change the system a little bit, the way I discriminate properties, the way I do this thing. I need to change it a little bit for that to work. But this was great because I didn't have to do much in the sense of how do you say? I didn't have to pollute the interface too much, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to intrude in your code, right? It would say if I add, because here's one thing I don't like. For instance, the options, like sometimes there are properties that make sense, right? But sometimes they don't really make sense to put them as part of the API of the component, right? For instance, here, right, we have imagine if this wasn't a decorator, right? Because this is the way that our properties are going to work now, right? That are these folding things work, right? You have a group, right? Just add re props group, and it says my foldable group. True, it says like that, you know. And this is just a decorator on top of the first prop, right? So actually, you're just adding a decorator to first prop. You're not really giving a decorator to all of these properties or anything like that. All it says is, okay, if first prop has this thing, then we start adding all of these other properties inside a group, a foldable group in this case, right? Because it says true. So it's a foldable group that contains these properties until the next group opens, right? Or if there is no other group open, then all the properties below it that have a decorator in them, right? All of them are going to have. Oh, sorry, I had a second thing there. Okay, yeah, don't worry. Just ignore one of these here. And yeah, and the first, second, third prop, all that, you know, are going to be inside of this one. Then this new one opens. This is not foldable one. This will have, you know, the properties thing there, you know, the little properties title there, you know. It's just going to say my unfoldable group. It's not going to be foldable. And then this one is just a separator, right? This one has only a separator there. So I think that's super useful because it doesn't pollute your interface, right? If this were like a properties within your component, it would be a mess. It would be an absolute mess, because the thing about this is that you don't want to pollute your interface with things that will only be seen in the editor, right? Which is something I don't like about like the other things, right? For instance, the buttons, right? The buttons are something I'm still not a fan of within Rogue Engine, right? Because they're functions, yes, but these functions can be called in runtime as well, and they can be seen in runtime as well. So these are not things that I'm in love with. I don't like polluting the interface, right? I'm talking about the re props button, right? So you can see a very nice button there that you can use, and it's beautiful and all that, but I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's those things are not awesome, right? Just to say the least. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here, right? Let me go into a component and show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, let me come here. This is a shooting tower, so this will not affect us at all. But yeah, right now, I want to have some kind of component to do something so that you can do something within the editor, right? Just press a button and, I don't know, instantiate something somewhere, right? So that you can see something. Like, well, better yet, let's go into one in action, right? To see one of them in action. We have here the let me see, what's it called? Quarks. I think it's the row quarks that has a button, right? So we can see the row quarks here. Let's see. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's the row quarks component. Let's look at it. Here it is. The button, the first one, right? So we have a button here. You see, re props button. What is it? It's just add a function. It's a play function. And we have the play label. So this is polluting your interface, right? This is polluting your interface. So I'm not a fan of these. The thing is, it's so useful to have it this way within the editor, right? So for development purposes, this is fantastic. This is awesome. This is magnificent. This is exactly what you want for development purposes. For tooling, right? The thing is, obviously, in play mode, right, when the runtime is playing, this is absolutely useless. This is useless when the game is playing, all that. This is still there, and it's just, you know, it's not very great. If you're developing things, when you start developing, right, when you start like playing around with your components for the game itself, when you're developing gameplay, these things will start showing up within your interface, right? Play like this, right? It's not great also as a name, right? But yeah, if you need to get the row quarks component, right? Let's just to say this, right? Now you hit this dot play, right? You see what I mean? This will be there. This will be available if you get an instance of the component, right? And play label too. You know, that's not nice. That's not nice. Not to me, at least. I don't know. Maybe I'm being. I know I'm being nitpicky, but this is something I do often. I nitpick very much my own interfaces, the way that these things work, because I use them, and I realize when I'm being silly, and when I'm being, you know, like yeah, when I'm doing things that maybe I shouldn't be doing them, you know, or maybe I have to question whether maybe I just don't want to do something because I feel like it's polluting something, but maybe I need to be less dogmatic about those things and just apply whatever fits best a certain solution, right? Because sometimes we get, you know, too drawn in within our own dogmas, and we forget that practicality sometimes beats yeah, sometimes beats these perfect architectures that it just doesn't make much sense sometimes, right? So the occasions in which you need a button for those components that need, for that component that needs a button, perhaps it's a much better choice to just have that component be have that button there, have that play function there, and that's it, right? So yeah, you see, this is super useful to have it that way, to use within the component as a function that you can use. You know, it's very useful. So you know, you have this this listener, you know, and all that for the particle system. You know, so it's, you know, when you want to integrate with tooling and you want to let people use the tool in a much better way, you have to compromise. And I think this is a good compromise, but it's still something that makes, you know, there is some kind of smell to it to me. You know, it's always going to be some kind of smell to it. So whenever I can avoid it, I avoid it. I avoid it like the plague. You know, and in this particular case, with this with the groups, I'm so happy I did this way, because I think we avoided polluting the interface of a component. And to me, that's important. That's a good thing, and we should always aim towards that. We should always aim towards not polluting people's interfaces if possible, right? Yeah, so that's something I wanted to address. And this is something that's coming for the next iteration. Obviously, you're going to have these folding things, and I don't know if I don't know if I finished with the I have to look at that branch there. It's just to have some mess there with the development branches there, but probably if I have that the tooltips, I have to look at all the things I have I've built and put them together. There's so much stuff for the next iteration, like so much stuff. I mean, it's a mess of things, like the fixing the renaming of the properties of the renaming of components. That is a mess right now. It's a problem. So I put so many things there, like in all of these different fixes that I had to make. Some fixes that I had to make in order to add up all the fixes. So some things are merged together, and it's yeah, that's an absolute mess of lots of things one on top of each other. I have to keep track of in order to say, okay, this is what I did since the last one, since the last release. These are the actual changes. And yeah, that's a mess. So yeah, some fixes there, here and there, and yeah, and some things I'm considering whether to add them or not. You know, so I'm still there in the fight, or whether to focus more on finishing some things that I need to finish, or going straight for some things that I kind of want to do, or I really want to do, but I'm still in the doubting myself whether to fully face them or not. So yeah, that's a thing that we need to kind of address. But yeah, if you're there in the comments, let me know. Let me know if you're in the chat. Sorry, in the chat, not in the comments, because we're not in a YouTube video, right? Well, if this may be a YouTube video to you, right? Maybe if you're watching this later on, right? If you're watching this after the fact, this is a YouTube video to you, right? So that's okay. In your case, just tell me in the comments what you think of this. If you like the new approach, which will be available in the next iteration there, what do you think about tooltips, having them there? If you haven't, if you have any thing that you actually want let me know. Let me know what you want to see. Join the Discord. Let me know there. You know, this is a feature request channel, so come here to the feature request channel and let me know what you want to see. You know, in Rogue Engine, what kinds of things would you like to see addressed, and yeah, the kinds of things that we should be building, we should be aiming towards. So yeah, let's go, mate. Let's go. All right. I don't know how many people we are. There's no many people talking here, so I don't know. You know, if you're there, just say hey, and I'm watching from this place. And this is what time it is, because I'm trying to figure out my schedule. So knowing when people are watching, knowing when I'm catching people in the act, it's very important to me to have an idea, you know, when and all that to stream. And yeah, should I go straight to this? Should I go straight to AI talk now? Because I was hoping some more people were going to join, because I would like to have a more open sort of conversation. I really wanted to address this, you know, with the when more people were joining in. But yeah, if you're watching this after the fact, this is probably about the time I'm going to start talking about the AI stuff and my thoughts about it as a tool developer, as someone who's you know, also selling a tool, right? That's fair principle there. One thing I'm not doing is selling lies, right? I'm not in the business of selling lies, and I'm not going to do that to you because I don't like that done to me, and so that's not something I'm going to do. That's not how I was raised. That's not how I approach things. And yeah, so I want to talk about that. I really feel like I want to talk about. I was hoping, you know, to have. I was hoping that by now there would be probably a bit more people active in the streams, but yeah, probably my fault that I haven't been very consistent with the schedule and all that. But yeah, I think time's just going away, and I haven't yet addressed this, and this needs to be addressed. I did address this in the Discord a few times, saying a few things, and yeah, and I haven't like I haven't probably I think most people haven't seen those things. That's the problem, right? And yeah, I hope more people can now be, you know, like aware of what's of my thoughts about these things and my approach and what I'm going to do. What are the next steps for Rogue Engine regarding AI? And yeah, so yeah, if you're there, if you want to hear about this, let me know there. Give me a thumbs up. And yeah, tell me where you're watching from, what time is it, where you are, and yeah, so that I can start figuring out my schedule more. You know, that's something I kind of have to do. So yeah, I'm gonna see how this comes out, because I would like to extract as a separate video this specific part when I talk about the AI stuff, because I think it's important to have this conversation, and I think it's important for people to know where I stand, and I think it's important for people to be informed as well, right? About these things. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and change the titles here. It's probably going to bring some more. I know I didn't want to do this, but I mean, I think it makes more sense, right? To kind of update this as to what we're actually going to do. We're not going to be making a game at this moment, right? We're going to be talking about making games. We're with AI and those things, right? So let's change this, right? So okay, let's move this here. Let's say Rogue Engine, making games in THREE.js with Rogue Engine. So I'm gonna say say, can we make games with AI? That's it. That's what I'm gonna call it. Is it the best title? No, absolutely not. This is probably I mean, someone who knows about YouTube and titling probably gonna say, he's gonna say that I'm a complete useless idiot. But yeah, that would be fair criticism. So yeah, let's change it. Yeah, let's update titles. There you go. Can we make games with AI? Let's have an honest conversation about this thing, okay? Yeah, probably wait. Let's wait a couple of minutes. Let's see if some people see it. Let's see some people join in. Let's see if it catches some people's attention, because I think we need to talk about this, and we need to talk about the new feature coming in, right? I'm working on a new release. The new release, I still don't know if new release is going to be 1.0 finally, or if it's going to be if it's going to be 1.0, or if it's going to be like a last beta. You know, we're still like we're in a very stable beta phase, right? I mean, that was my goal, was always to have, you know, a very stable beta phase in order to say, okay, we're ready to go in full stability mode. But being in a stable, being in a stable beta is I think is the best way to figure out if you're ready to launch a fully stable product without chaining yourself into saying, okay, I need to change something. I can't, because people are going to come at you, so because you're going to break people's projects, sorry. And yeah, you don't want to do that, right? But if you're in beta, if you break something, it's expected in people, you can go and help people actively to sort of fix that problem and all that. But it's expected for a 1.0 to work, perfectly fine, to be very stable. And if something happens, if a change happens, at least that's how I see it, right? At least that's, I feel like, I have to be way more responsible with updates, even more than I am right now, because I think I'm very responsible with updates now. But I would need to be like, I would listen. It would be like a voice in my head saying, like a way more clear voice in my head saying, am I breaking something here for people? Like, should I call this a new version or something? And next time I release something, I could break people's projects. Keep saying products, but if I break someone's projects, I kind of, I have to work at it, right? So I don't know. Yeah, that's something we need to figure out. That's something we need to be very responsible about. That's something we'll start thinking about. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we should start talking about this or not. I am not fully convinced if it's the let me see if the audio is okay. Yeah, the audio is fine. Audio is okay, and yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't think I don't see there's anyone there. My God, yeah, I think there's just 2 people there, maybe 3 people. I don't know how many they are. I can't see in this. I have a screen that's so far away. It's just too far away. But yeah, I was just hoping some more people are going to join. But yeah, let's just have this conversation, and as people join in, we can keep digging on it and keep talking about it. Okay. But yeah, AI. Okay, let's start with, like I said, I'm not prepared, so I'm just gonna have to. I don't want to ramble, so I'm gonna organize my thoughts. The first thing I should address is what's common in Rogue Engine, and what it. Yeah, let's talk about that. So probably in the next iteration, and I say probably because I was planning if it's a final beta, it may or may not be there. And if it's a 1.0, right, it will surely be there, right? But if we do like a final beta phase, like okay, this is a final beta to test, the biggest changes and make sure that, so that if we need to break people's projects, at least we know, okay, this is the pathway towards it for 1.0, right? And we can figure out if we are actually breaking people's projects in that way, like in a more responsible way, probably in a final beta and not in a 1.0 and I break everything. And then, I don't know, I just like, I like being responsible in that way. But yeah, so one of the features that I'm adding, which I'm working quite hard on, it's an AI agent. And what is the AI agent? Is it like a thing that will just make your games? Is it like a ChatGPT sort of thing? Well, no. What can it do, or what can't it do? Can it replace you as a developer? No. Is it as good as a good developer, like as a mid developer in some things? Yeah, I would say in some things it's really, really good. Like say to write down an algorithm that does something very specific. Yeah, it's really good. And in fact, it can write some fairly decent code. Like I managed to get it to consistently build some small components, right? Say, how do you call it? Concise components in a very cohesive way that at least give you a nice framework to work with. The more complex you are, the more complexity you are to it, the worse it becomes. And suddenly you have this massive thing that just it does this thing that you want, but this other thing is wrong, so you need to, and you ask, okay, but fix this, and then and it just starts breaking the other thing that it did before. And so hallucinations are just a thing of AI, right? It's just a thing of AI. It's more than just humans in mushrooms, it's no, AI really hallucinates, and it just invents things and says, yeah, this is, many of the things it does is just fiction. And when you ask, why did you add this here, where I know it's not in the API, why did you add it there? Well, I thought it was a nice property to add here. It's like, but why? I mean, it's not in the documentation. It's not nowhere that you have it. No, well, I don't know. Right. So you understand where I'm coming from. I've used it a lot to figure out what the capabilities of it actually are. And honestly, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed about what AI can do in the sense of consistency and scalability, which is what you want with software, right? You don't want to build software for tomorrow, right? It's just for right now, or to play around, fool around. The reason you're writing software in general is because either you have something that you need to learn and something that like something you want to do because you always wanted to do it and you try it out, and or you have like this dream project that you want to build, right, that you're banking on, or you're working in a company that is banking their money into something, so they're paying you as a developer to build it. And can the AI be better at you at it? Well, no. AI is not better than humans at writing code. I mean, it's better at humans at writing it really, really fast, some code, but then keeping the context of a whole software and doing things that actually work for the whole software without hallucinating every single time, and you knowing exactly what's going on every time you add something and you modify something. It's just too much. It's just too much. I mean, I can't responsibly say, because here's the thing, right? I have the option. I'm gonna go different direction here. Now I'm gonna show you the opposite side of this coin. I'm gonna show you the opposite side of this coin. I'm gonna come here now. Let's start over. Okay, I go away right now. I show up again. Hello, I am AI dude. I'm AI dude. With AI, you can make games and create these massive, immense components, all fully built with AI. And with Rogue Engine, you will be able to do this next. So buy my licenses and you will be able to create games without knowing how to code, because AI is going to replace development for gamers and for game developers and for everyone. You don't need code anymore. No, just AI needs code now. You just need to have a dream and a will and money to pay me. And now I'm going to be a millionaire and you are going to have nothing, because obviously you can just keep having dreams, you know, just you can keep dreaming, because it's not going to do what the thing that you want. Okay, I can't lie to you. I can't be, you know, this, you know, liar, just salesman, you know. Yeah, I'll probably like I'm probably just shooting myself in the foot, right? I should probably do that, right? And make a lot of money out of people who believe me, right? Yeah, I should probably do that. Some people are laughing at me and say, "Wow, why aren't you? You know, you have the perfect platform to do this, right? And just sell this dream, this massive thing. Why aren't you selling that dream?" Well, because I can't do that. I can't lie to you in that way. No. There's no possible way in which I can come. I'm not a liar. I'm not a you know. That's not how I was raised. That's not how I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't live with myself. That's the truth. That's the honest truth. You know, that's the honest truth. If yeah, I've had multiple chances of adding, you know, of doing many things with Rogue Engine. When the crypto was a whole, whoa, crypto, and everyone was crypto, you know, I had many chances of selling to a crypto company once for a lot of money, when crypto was a whole thing and they wanted to make these crypto game platforms with Rogue Engine, and they offered me a lot of money to sell Rogue Engine. I could have sold it, I could have made money, but I can't, because these people are grifters. These people are absolute grifters. So was I gonna sell it? No. It was like selling my soul and selling everyone else around, you know. And I don't even believe in, you know, at least not in traditional, probably in the way that people believe in these things. I don't know. I have my own way of believing in things, but I'm not a liar. That's the whole point. That's the whole gist of this thing. I'm not a liar. I don't like selling. We call them, I don't know how you call them in English. In Spanish, we say espejitos de colores. We say, you know, like colored mirrors, colored glass. Yeah, colored mirrors. Though, you know, it's it was the exchange they did for the, you know, for the slaves and for these things, you know, for with the Indians, you know, well, the Indians, sorry, the natives to South America, at least. You know, my place in the world. Yeah, well, they just bought things from them with these little mirrors, colored mirrors and things, you know, and you know, they just bought whatever they were giving them, because it looked cool, looked nice, and looked impressive, but it had no value. And yeah. So I'm not saying that it has no value. Again, it doesn't have value, because otherwise I wouldn't be building something with it, right? Right. So then you're saying, why are you even building something with it if it has no value? Well, because it has value, right? It has some value. The thing is, it doesn't have that value that they're trying to show you that it has. No, it does not. It simply does not. I mean, is it fun to use for something like that? Yeah, probably it's fun to use, yes. But it's hit a wall, because it was always meant to hit a wall. So even if you have, unlimited amounts of energy, right? The context window is still, you still need to, figure out the whole context window. We still have physics. Physics is a thing. And you can't just say, oh no, physics, fuck physics. It's just going to go and look at this whole context and make sense of it every single time in the whole, No, sometimes you have a full context window, massive context window. And even in that context window, the thing will make mistakes and it will not read the whole context window every time it needs to do something. It will not infer correctly, because it can't just keep everything. And when you ask again, it's not going to remember. And that's the problem. Even when it makes corrections, it's going to break something else, because it's not a mathematician in that sense, right? It just predicts the next word. And what the next word is, it's not always logical or makes any sense, or it's sometimes just what's the next most possible word. It's probably, if we have like quantum computing, maybe we're talking about something else there, right? We're still not there with quantum computing, We managed to solve this problem there, which is, yay, hey, we have something that may prove useful there. But is it really the next big thing in the next 20 years? I really don't think so. The pace we're going and how complex it is, and even for us to understand, it's just grasp within our brains how it works. Just think about that for a second, right? It's so hard to even think about quantum. To think quantum is really, really hard. Now, just imagine creating a computer and trying to translate things that are non-quantum, right? Or quantum to non-quantum, because we need to see things and we need to figure them out, right? We can't just live in quantum world, right? No, we need to kind of turn things into logical pieces. And there's some bottleneck that may happen there. And what are we going to do with that bottleneck? And this is real problems. These are real problems that we're facing. And now we have all of these new things coming in, right? AI. And like I said, I think it's not as bad as it was with crypto stuff, because the crypto stuff, well, was just a waste of energy, money, and things. And now we have more crypto stuff there, maybe there were like one or two different uses of blockchain that you could do that were good and weren't just grift. Some uses it made sense with sort of the infrastructure, like Multisync was doing with networking, sort of like a B2B for networking, things like that. Okay, that's interesting, right? Because you sort of create a way for people, a motivation for people to share their networking with other people, right? And keep a secure network in that sense, keep the data secure. So it made sense in that sense. And you use that to sort of say, okay, we compensate this person that does this. Okay, yeah, because we're doing some work, some actual work. It's not just work for the sake of it because we're mining stuff. No, we're just actually creating something for the sake of doing a providing networking services, right? So that's what you're doing, right? You're actually just encrypting, decrypting the networking services, right? And sending them around, having That made a lot of sense. That's a great idea. But most of the other things were just coins, meme coins, just grift people and rug pull them. That doesn't make any sense in my book. That doesn't make any sense. That's just grifting. That's just absolute grifting. And I've always been against it. Most of the crypto stuff that's out there, like I would say 99% of the crypto stuff out there is absolute grift, useless crap. Okay? You can get mad at me all you want. It's useless shit. That's what it is. Useless shit. And most people in the crypto space are all grifters. And they don't care about you. They don't care about any. They just care about making money and making themselves a little money, banking with your coin and being billionaires. That's all they care about, right? And they don't care about consequences. They don't mind. They don't care about consequences. Even less now, right? They just apparently they all free you now, right? You can grift people, and they'll apparently now they'll pardon you, and you just can go bye. Right? I don't know. So one people frees their friends, whatever they did, and the other people, they release their friends, So you have, it's not a political thing, right? It's always whoever's your friend is in power right now will do whatever they want, right? Yeah, it's always like that, It's not about whoever's in power. It's about who you're friends with. And if your friends are in power, well, it doesn't matter what party it is or anything. It's just, who are your friends? That's what happens. And, yeah. It happens everywhere in the world. I'm not just talking about the US, right? It's very relevant. US politics in this case are very relevant for this particular thing. But this is obviously not just about the United States, okay? But yes, so can you make games with AI? You probably can. So here's what the new tool is going to do and what the new tool means for Rogue Engine and how it will be available. Well, I'm not ready to show it yet. At one point, I'm going to show you how it's been developed, how it's working, because right now I have a whole, messy pipeline, so it's not going to be nice to show, isn't it? Really, it's just going to be a mess. So, but when I have a more, polished interface and things that I can actually show you in a way that it works, but I'm going to explain to you how it works and what it does. So what it does is you ask for a component. You say, instead of just writing down, instead of saying new component, right? You create a new AI component. You write down what you want for that component, and that component, instead of having a template component that is empty, right? An empty template like you get right now, you'll get a template component that has more or less the things that you asked for. It's not going to be perfect if you don't know what's going on in that component. You may get some things that don't work in the sense that however you want them to work. So it's really good for things that it's really good if you can control whatever's in there, right? It's really good if you know what's going on and you get to learn of how some things can be done because you didn't know. Oh, I didn't know you could do this. Okay, and you see them, right? But you may find out that, hey, there's an error in that component that this agent gave you because it did a wrong import, right? It didn't keep into account some new thing, right? Or something that you wanted. The technology that you wanted it to use, it wasn't really using it. It didn't know about the interface of that library. Didn't take that into account. These things happen a lot. These things happen so much. You ask an AI agent if it knows about Rogue Engine, right? And it will tell you, yes, Rogue Engine, this and that. If they got to actually know about Rogue Engine, then you say, give me a Rogue Engine component. It'll write a Unity component with some Rogue Engines looking stuff. So it's not going to work. Like, not at all, unless you create something that's very specific, right? And does what the AI agent. You have to give a lot of context, and you have to train a specific model to do the things that you need to do. So it's expensive. It's expensive. I'm not even going to go into the energy part of this, because I think that's something you need to be very responsible about. Of course, some people are going to turn it political, so I don't want to go into that. I think what matters here is to not just go on on a rampage of, okay, this is marketing, let's just give so many messages for free and just pay for them, you know, and that's it. You know, I think we have to kind of reduce the amount to the right amount of things and right amount of messages, cache everything we can, and manage everything I can from my end to make it as efficient as possible. That's what I can do. And yeah, and what I'm going to do, what this is going to do basically is just give you specific instructions. You ask for something, you say, I want to build this, right? And it's going to give you options. It's going to show you a few components that you can build. It will even give you like components that can interact with each other, right? Say, okay, I want to build a car that has, I don't know, 4 wheels and this and that, and please, you know, I need a component that does this, a component that does that, and they'll give you the different components, and you can install them, right? If it figures out that, hey, you could do this in a couple of different components, it'll give you that option and even tell you which objects you need to add them to. The bigger the request, the less specific it is, the more prone to errors it will be, and the less control you're going to have over what happens within the component. Now, if you want to just ask for some, you know, advice, it'll just give you advice. So the way I'm going to provide it is going to be for the paid licenses, right? Is you're going to have a package of messages that you can use. And if you're not a developer, you may find it really useful to learn how to code. You know, can you vibe code with it? You may be able to vibe code some components, because if you use like, you may be able to a certain extent get it to vibe code something simple. I don't think you're going to scale a lot, right? The fact that the thing that helps you is the fact that you can have that the AI is actually generating components. So if you go very specifically about each component, so you actually need to do some engineering, right? It's not about, oh, just give me game, you know, no. And it's not even vibe coding. It's just let the thing go. It would be vibe coding in the sense of let the AI write a component and just add it there, and then ask for replacement if something doesn't work the way you want it, and just use the new component. Well, you'll be able to pass in a say another component, like other components as a additional messages for context, right? If you want to keep those in context, to say, okay, use these components as part of the, you know, my API. Okay, I want this component that uses this component, you know. So you pass that component in and say, okay, this is what I need. So I need to figure out the interface for that still, you know. That's part of the reason why I'm not showing it to you yet, because I'm still figuring these things out. But yeah, it's going to be very capable, definitely. Is it going to be magical? Is it going to be the thing that they're selling you? Like, we're going to have super intelligent computers that are going to rule the world? No. 1000% no. No and not. And saying these things and just talking about, yeah, we can vibe code our way into, you know, being millionaires. No. And just talking about, yeah, the next game is going to be, you know, a vibe code game. It's just going to, no. Oh my God. Every time I hear these things, I'm like, oh. You're either selling it, or you don't know what you're talking about. But you have never used it enough to know that it doesn't work like that. It just can't. I mean, like in this case with Rogue Engine, we're really stretching in the sense that in Rogue Engine you write components. So you have to ask for specific functionality to add as a component to an object. So you have to know what you're doing, right? And in that sense, you're not going to be able to just say, write game, right? It's not like that. It's more like, hey, I want to do this thing, right? So I need maybe, okay, I need a component that makes my object jump. So I create this component, makes the, object jump, right? The AI will know more or less what you have to do. And that is really good at doing. That it will do for you, right? When you press this button, I want this thing to jump. Okay, and now you write another one that does something else. Or maybe you add something to that component. Okay, add this to this component. That's very, very useful for it. Definitely. But the more context you give it and the more complex you add it, right? Say you add this component, add this to this component, and suddenly changes something else from the component, right? And it's like, why did you change that? And it's like, yeah, because it's an AI. It's not a human. It's not a person, right? It's not. I mean, if you gave me the choice of having so many credits of AI, or just having a junior dev, I'd rather hire a junior dev, because I can teach the junior dev to be super efficient and do incredible stuff, way more than I can teach an AI. But now I give this AI I wouldn't give the AI to a junior dev. I would give the AI to the junior dev when they're like capable enough, right? Maybe, when they know what you're doing. First, you have to kind of know what you're doing. Okay, now that you know what you're doing, now that you're familiar with the code and all these things, now we use the AI in the sense that, okay, we need to use this for templates and things, so that we can say go faster or get better ideas on how to do certain things, because we don't know about these things. And maybe it saves you, I don't know, maybe a month of searching on Google for something that you just kept thinking about and you kept getting back to because you didn't know how to do. Well, maybe that just saved you this a week, or I don't know how much time of thinking about that, right? But yeah, that just means that person could be more productive or creative in their work, right? So that's about coding, right? That's about coding. So what is the AI not going to do, right? So let's talk about that, because we just talk about what an AI agent and Rogue Engine will be able to do, right? This is what the AI engine will be able to do, right? It will be able to create components that, right? Just create components or modify components that either use the components in your scene and do specific stuff, specific things, and if the components within your if the request for a component that you have is specific enough, you may just get a game. I mean, you may just get a game that works without writing any code yourself. But the more you add, the more complex it's going to be for you to just not write any code and not know what's happening, right? You actually need to have some control about the things that you're doing. So this gives you a certain amount of control, but it's not given that you're going to be able to write 5 code games. No. In fact, I would say the highest chance is no. If someone comes in and says, "I've vibe coded this game in Rogue Engine with the AI agent you created," I would go like, "Wow, like I'm impressed," right? But I wouldn't motivate people to do that, right? Because I don't want people to just waste money, right? I wouldn't want people to waste money. So it's going to be a limited amount of messages that you can send with each one of the licenses. It's not just going to be free for all, just send messages. No, it's going to be about a bunch of components you can create, a bunch of messages you can send. That's the key, right? Because you can ask for advice, you can ask for different things, right? And it's going to help you. It's going to be a nice way to consult documentation in a more, in a way that the AI knows what it needs to do, what you need, how things can be done on Rogue Engine, and it can help you out whenever you need immediate assistance, whenever you need to get unstuck. You can ask it, okay, if this component works or not. Why does this component not work, or do something that you want? I need this to do this, and why isn't it doing it? So it may tell you, because of this. And so those sorts of things. That's the kind of thing that I want the AI to be able to do, to get you unstuck from a problem, to help you jumpstart into something. That's the idea behind it. To give you more freedom to keep working, and not to say, okay, to keep doing it, and maybe instead of being stuck for 2 days and something, I know how to do this, or or I need to go and research about this, because maybe it gives you a nice idea, or maybe even gives you nice pointers of things you can go and research to know what to do next. So it's going to be able to do that. Those are my thoughts about that. What it can do. That's my approach towards it, right? And I think that's a responsible approach about AI. The responsible approach is not telling people that, hey, you're going to be able to replace everything, and everyone's going to be replaced, and there's no way. No, because it's just not. Anyone who has used it for a while knows, and has been so frustrated with it, and thinking, if you're still thinking, no, it's going to get better, it's going to get, sure, yeah, but it's going to get better because it's just going better. No, it hasn't changed that much. They've just trained the same. I mean, the models can change some, but then they can give them more context and train them a bit more to do more specific things. But the truth is, it's just a little trick, right? It's like a little magic trick. It looks like they're way better at something, but in reality, they're not that much better at that, right? They still hallucinate. They will still hallucinate a lot, right? You may reduce hallucinations, but in order to reduce hallucinations, you have to also reduce a lot of the creativity part, right? So when I say creativity, I'm stretching the term of creativity, because I don't consider anything AI generated creativity at all. It's just prediction. Creativity is way more than that. And that's the next thing that I need to talk about, because for this first part, we talk about code. We talked about what AI will do with code. And that makes a lot of sense, because code is more like math, right? In that sense, right? The part that you're actually doing, the artistic part of code, is the engineering part, is the putting things together, is that, coding is not an art. Coding in itself, what is an art is development. There's an art of development which requires coding. And the tool you use for coding, right, the language that you use, it's not the art in itself, right? The code that you use is not the art. What matters, the art, is what happens while you're doing something, when you're doing your craft. That's when happens the art. Is the action of performing your craft. That's art, right? It's not the tool in itself, right? The paints by themselves, they're not the art, right? The artist paints on a canvas, and when they paint on the canvas, the action of painting on the canvas is the art, right? Because you're painting on the canvas, you're leaving something, you're leaving a piece of yourself on the canvas, and that makes that piece of art yours and unique, because it's a unique expression of you, and that is art. That's why AI will never create art, because it's not a unique expression of anything. It's not a human. Only humans can create art. Only people can create art, right? People, special people, who sit down with whatever they have, with whatever thing they, all your traumas, all the things you've lived, everything is, you're just putting it in a canvas or on a piece of paper or anywhere, right? Or on a screen, on a digital screen, or maybe on a anywhere, right? Everything in your life, everything is reflected on everything you do when we're talking about art. Even when you're expressing yourself, just, I don't know, I'm just going to make a robot, and your robot's not going to be the same as my robot, right? When you're doing free development, you're just designing that robot, right? Unless you're just copying some Star Wars robot or something, okay, you're just doing a robot, and you think, oh, it's just a robot, right? What's so artistic about this, right? But no, yours is never going to be the same as mine or anyone else's. Everyone, even if we try to do the same thing, we're going to do it differently, because we are different, and that's what makes things we do special. That's what makes humans and unique human labor, the human performance of their craft special. Right? We perform craft, right? And we perform craft, we create art, we do art. The creation of art comes from within. The creation of art is not the paint, is not the paint in itself in the canvas. It's you rearranging the paint that is in little pots or anywhere it is. You're just rearranging it. You're rearranging it. That's the art. It's the action. That is the art. Okay, If you're not creating your songs, if there's a producer doing your song somewhere else, then you're not an artist. You're just that's all you do, and you sing and there you go, and then you get someone to do some auto tune there and just go around, and you just dance around, and you're not an artist. You're just a scammer. I'm sorry if I'm offending a lot of you, but yeah, I don't care. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? There's people performing art, and there's people just making money, right? Because all they want, right? Just want an easy, okay, I just go into this stadium and fill it up with people, I charge them a lot of money and just go around and move around. I don't even know how to dance or something, and I just bank. That's how some people roll. That's some people roll. And there's some people who just don't care, just go in there and just to leave their souls in it and play. And if they make a mistake, that's okay. Because art is also in the mistakes. How many artists you've seen the guitarist that just, break a string live, and it's like, oh, this epic moment with this artist broke a string or something. Those things are epic. Those things are incredible because a moment, special moment. Let's hear audio. Yeah, audio is fine. Audio is fine. Yeah. I'm sorry, my nose is going red for the. I have a light in front of me. I think the light's just too. Yeah, the light's killing me. I don't know what. But yeah. So sometimes, right? People call art things that are not art. We confuse art for things that are not. And then if we don't have the concept of art clear, we call art anything, right? It's just praise anything, I guess, and think, oh, this is beautiful. Wow, you're just such a great AI artist. That's never. Who's a great AI artist? I'm sorry. No, you're not an artist. You just asked a prompt to something that just predicted the next pixel, right? Considering your prompt, that's not art. That's not art. If you think that's art, you're wrong. That's it. It's not a matter of opinion. You're wrong. You are wrong. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. You are wrong. You can have a nice image. Yes, an image is not necessarily art. An image that looks like something is not necessarily art, right? And that's the next thing that I want to talk about. Rogue Engine is not going to generate models or images or things like that. Why? Well, because some people pour their souls into something they created, and suddenly someone comes in and decides, I'm going to profit by taking all of your art, putting it in this, list of things, and I'm going to train my AI with it, right? And now I'm just going to let people use it and make money with it. And I'm not even going to license it. I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to use it for my own profit. I mean, I can't use a song here in this live stream, right? Say I would like to play, I don't know, I would like to play a Led Zeppelin song, right? I would like to play, I don't know, any song. Think about any song. I don't want to bias anyone, but just think about any song, okay? Think of the Forbidden Stairway to Heaven song in all the guitar stores, okay? I want to play. I want to be kicked off all the guitar stores in everywhere. So I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna play Stairways to Heaven here. Just wait a second. I'm going to. There. Hello? Oh my God. I think I went there. Whoa, no. Right. I know what's happening. I know what happened. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I know what happened. I changed it to default because the thing is, I have a different setting there. Um, I have a virtual microphone that I use to be able to use this for Zoom calls and all that, right? OBS for Zoom calls and all that. And I added the virtual microphone. I forgot, and that wasn't the default setting. So you know, they were mixing up there, the same microphone going in there, you know. So he killed it. But yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back to it then, okay? Because I figure it was since I started talking about the music stuff. Okay, so let's think about I want to use a Led Zeppelin song here, right? Let's think about, I want to bring here "Stairway to Heaven" or anything, or any song, right? The song that is oh, thank you very much, Korgum. Sorry, Kogarun, right? Did I say it right? Kogarun, right? But yeah, okay. So and welcome. Thank you for being there, mate. And yeah, thank you for letting me know. Thank you so much. And okay. Yeah, let's get back to it. So if I want to play any song, right? I'm talking about "Stairway to Heaven" because it's a song that will kick you from any guitar store out there if you start playing that song. So but say I would just want to use that song here to ambience this live stream, right? Or any song I like, any sort of song, right? I would just want to bring it here. I need to have a license for it. I need to have a license for any song that I'm going to play here. If I'm playing a song here and I'm not licensed to play that song, then I'm not going to make any money. Someone else is going to be making the money for that song, right? So, but I'm not really using that song. I mean, nobody's going to, that song in the background here is not useful as a product, right? In the sense that people, I'm not stealing the product. You see what I mean? Like even then, right? We're protecting the artist's right to be able to be billed for something they do, right? So why, when an AI uses it, oh no, we can't, no, that, you know, if the AI is using it as a source to let you create some song, right? Some AI song, why is the artist not being paid? Why should the artist allow that to happen? Why is that different? It is not. It's absolutely not different, because it's not, the AI is not creating anything, right? Even if it were creating something, right? It's actually using the song to give you a song, right? It's actually stealing from the song. I would be, I mean, it's way worse. It's way worse. In fact, I would say, how's that different? It's worse. Because in fact, you could tell the AI, can you write me a song in the way Led Zeppelin would write a song? It will give you a song like Led Zeppelin. How is that not stealing? If I were Led Zeppelin, I'll be pissed, right? Because it's about my work. It's about my art. Craft happens when I'm doing that work. And if someone decides, here's the thing, right? I'm not being even paid for being me. Someone is deciding to be me, to impersonate me, right? With an AI, and profit from that, from the dark, and tell people that you just use this. How's that good? That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. And the people promoting that like it's good, they fucking disgust me. Because as I am a musician, I'd be absolutely disgusted by it. You know? And I would never license my music for that. Never absolutely use my music for that. If I license my music for that, I expect to be paid for it. Like I would license my music for people to use it on live streams or something. I would want people to be, you know, I mean, if I'm using it for live stream, I'm letting people use it for live streams, right? I'm not licensing for that. Someone is paying me for that, right? In some way, right? Because you're using some kind of distributor that does that for you, right? If someone uses it, maybe you're being paid in some way because someone's paying a license, right? So you're being paid for the use of your music. Even just a little penny, right? It's just a penny makes sense, right? Not just, oh no, this is not yours anymore. This now belongs to the world. To the ether. No, sorry, it doesn't belong to the world. Now it belongs to the billionaires. To these billionaires sitting in high rises and deciding that suddenly your life's work is now to be replicated by this model, right? Because they decide, this also these awful things it creates, because it doesn't even sound natural or good. No, it doesn't sound like, okay, more or less like it. Yeah, sure, it can sort of do that. Yes. But it's, even if it were perfect, even if it worked absolutely perfect, it would be even worse. We can't let a good tool that is definitely a good tool, definitely something that we can use, because I've been working with AI since we were calling it machine learning back in the day, and we're talking about something that is deeply personal and intrinsical to the human nature, right? To our inner personalities, to everything that makes us, to our own identities as people. We're talking about that. Are we going to let these people sitting in high rises with their money, with their pockets full of money and these mansions, decide suddenly, no, you cannot create anything, because what's going to happen? You're not going to have more art. The AIs are not going to have more art to use, because people are not going to want to publish anything, right? That's the world you want. The people that don't create anything and just decide, no, oh, you're just a boomer or something. Yeah, well, I don't want people profiting from other people, from artists artists are probably the most important thing we have as humans. Art is the thing that makes us human. It differentiates us. It's not practical. It doesn't have anything, it's absolute expression from within us. And we just want to replace that. We just want to replace that for some mimicking thing and decide that that's creation. No, that's not creation. Absolutely not. We have to protect art. Absolutely protect art and protect artists. I can't draw a beautiful painting. And you want to create a little logo, placeholder logo for yourself. You're not going to pay anyone. And it's just going to create that thing while you wait for, I'm going to wait to have some money, and then, okay, I'm going to pay someone else. Well, that could be justifiable, because there have been logo generators forever. Yeah, since forever. So you could justify that in a way, right? It's just paying a company to do something here and there. Yeah, maybe you could justify that because, okay, you're not a billionaire. Someone's just making a lot of money. Are you doing something for fun? Yeah, maybe, okay. But you're still paying someone to do it. You're still paying someone, right? You're doing okay. Are you using it for free for the free generation thing? But are you paying an AI company to generate this thing for you that you're going to use for your company to profit then, right? Or not, for your enjoyment? Are you paying an AI company to create something for you for your enjoyment? Are you doing that? Right? Or say, let's push it a bit further, right? Maybe if you're using it for the sake of enjoying it, and then you're doing it, with the free messages you get, and you're just wasting their resources, then you could call it, okay, you're just wasting their resources, and then use it as a way of protest, even if you will. I'm only going to use the free stuff. I'm going to waste every single bit of free stuff I can from them. You could use that as that. I mean, the metrics are certainly going to say that people don't pay, and then, they're not going to have a business. All you want. Yeah, good. Whatever you want. Whatever your morals are about it. Honestly, I don't care. I'm not going to I'm telling you what my morals about it are. Oh, I'm Kurgram asks, what do you think about writing code with AI? Well, I did a fairly long talk about the writing code with AI. We probably just arrived a bit late, but I'm gonna try to go a bit short about it. Like do a bit of yeah, try and reduce everything I said into a few sentences so that I don't double up the video. but I recommend going back there and listening to the whole thing. I mean, at least I don't know the point I started talking about that. Previously, I talked about a feature that I think you saw. So yeah, I probably maybe don't care much about won't care much about that part, but at least about the AI part and what's coming for Rogue Engine. I talked about I'm creating an AI agent for Rogue Engine. I'm talking about what the AI agent is capable of doing and what it will be able to do and how it can help you and why in which ways it's good and in which ways it won't help you and talking about responsibility when talking about AI products and AI things. Because there's people generating hype. There's people just saying, okay, we can do whatever we want because we're billionaires and we do and saying that this is the freeing of the people. No, the freeing of the people is art, creating art ourselves, not art by AI. No, that's giving money to billionaires, something like that, right? But okay. So, but it's just and I think it's good to talk about this now as well because maybe some people didn't see it. If anyone else didn't see it, I recommend going back and watching later maybe the whole thing and seeing my whole opinion about how what AI can and cannot do. But I'm just gonna say it very quickly here. I'm creating an AI agent for Rogue Engine. It's going to be able to help you create components. Okay, it will not replace good development and knowing how things work. Can it help you? Yes. Is it perfect? No. Will it hallucinate? Yes. Will it be perfect, never make mistakes? No. In fact, I would say that unless you're very specific, it's going to make many mistakes. And if you don't know what's going on, you're probably not going to work the way you want it to work. And that's the same with every AI product out there, I think. They may just sell it as, no, this is perfect out of the box and you can use it for anything, and that's the problem. They're selling it like that. They're selling these things like that. I just want to be very, very clear. Very, very clear that AI has hit a wall, an absolute wall, right? In improving models, right? To the point that they can actually create more or be more aware of the whole context. They can be trained to be aware of certain parts of certain contexts or things like that. But no, they're not perfect, and they're not going to get better than this, much better than this. No, you can say, oh, they can get a tiny bit better. Yeah, they can. You can sort of modify them a little bit to make them. You can how do you say train them to be a bit better, in certain things, certain specific things. But even if you have a limited amount of energy, we still have physics in the middle. So we need to keep that in mind. We need to keep that in context. We need to know about these things. And anyone trying to sell you like, yeah, we're gonna get AGI anytime soon now, they're either selling AI, right? They're either selling an AI product or just don't know how it works. Because if you know how it works, they're going to tell you, well, no, even though I am going to be selling licenses that provide AI messages, which is going to be, they're only going to be available for licenses because it's expensive. I don't have a budget to go around and say, okay, I'm going to give you this amount of messages for free. No, right? Because I'm going to make it as so that every message counts as much as possible. So if you want to use AI with Rogue Engine, you pay. You get your AI messages, but I'm going to be very transparent as to what it can do, it cannot do. So what it can do, you can create components with it. It will help you instead of just creating a component that, it's empty. You create a component and it's empty. You can create a component that already has some functionality, and perhaps you can create a bunch of components, and you could say, okay, this bunch of components are cohesively put together. So maybe you get a sort of working thing. I mean, if someone tells me they built a whole game with Rogue Engine without writing any code, just using the AI agent, I'd be super surprised. I'd be like, wow, congratulations. Maybe someone's capable of doing that. I don't know how scalable that is, honestly. I don't think it's very scalable. You could create a little demo or things like that. Absolutely, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I've created one component with it that was fully working, that I uploaded to the the vehicle controller. The vehicle controller is almost fully built with AI. I think it was one mistake there or something. It was, because I rebuilt it. I had already done something, and then I asked for the AI to do something for me, and then it built the whole thing basically. And I was like, wow, okay, this, it made very little mistakes. So I was fairly sure that I could, and it was a very complex thing. It was very complex. So I was, I had to give it a bunch of, context of things that, were happening around it, how to handle things, how to get the wheels and how to do this thing. So, you need to know what you're doing. You can't just tell the AI, do car vehicle controller, and it does it. No, I'll do some mess. But if you're very specific, you say, if you do this, and you pseudocode things around a lot, and so you have to kind of know what's going on, right? You have to be an engineer in a way, right? I mean, maybe you don't know the exact code, so it's really good when you want to, save time, right? Save time, get a nice little, get ideas about how the certain things work. Is it going to replace you as a developer doing things? No. The art is in developing. The art is not in writing code. The art is in putting things together in a cohesive way and building things. That's the art, right? Whatever tool you use, it doesn't really matter. Then if anyone has reservations about environmental, anything like that, just don't use it. Anyone who wants to, use it, just consult the documentation, which is going to be useful for that, then it's great as well for that. And the idea is to get you unstuck from situations where you may get stuck, because it's going to be very specific. It is very specifically trained for this. It's very good in what it does. It's not perfect. It's probably never going to be perfect. If we get quantum computing, it's may get to be a certain level of perfection. But I don't see a way. I don't see, knowing how these things work. I can't see a situation or a moment in which this becomes so perfect that you can just replace the developer, a good junior developer with it. Look what I'm saying, a good junior developer. Because a good junior developer, maybe the recent junior developers who can't even write a bit of code without holding their hands, this is maybe a developer like that, maybe. But honestly, I'd rather train a junior dev to be really good than pay a lot of money to a company that's when I have to actively be there and write the code and do this thing. I'd rather equip a well-trained junior developer with an AI so they can sort of learn more and be more aware of certain things, how they work and all that. That makes more sense. Yeah. I could see that happening, yes, as any sort of business expense for an employee, right? Part of the tooling that you give an employee. But yeah, I don't see replacing a developer in any sort of way. Replacing your time maybe that you spend doing certain things, like a compiler would. I don't know. You don't have to just copy paste stuff around. This is a mess. No, you just create a compiler for it, right? Just create automation tools. The whole reason we have all these automated tools, right? And yeah, so those are my thoughts about that. And what the agent is not going to do is not going to create any sort of art. It's not going to use any art models. It's not going to use any 3D modeling or anything like that. If you want anything like that, you have quaternius.com, you have kenny.nl, you have, for amazing CC0 assets, go give them some money, go help them out, go, help them out, because, we need artists, because art is what, we need art. We need art in the world. I truly believe that. And so, it's part of the human experience. It's part of being human. We can't lose art. The moments, the darkest times in history, we lost freedom of art, or artistic freedom. We lost that. All the art was generated by certain elites, things, specific things. And we had credible artists at some point in the Renaissance decided they were going to start adding some things from the old world, from the old Greeks, and start putting all these beautiful things in them that represent the human condition way more than what they had us believe the human condition was for so many years in the Dark Ages. And we got real art for once again. And we got all the revolutions that helped free us from, from monarchies and all these people trying to enslave us. So do not let them kill artists ever. I'm very emphatic about it. Okay, this is not magic. This is not going to replace any sort of developer, and I'm not going to sell that. You're not going to see an announcement saying, "Oh, you can make whole games with AI with Rogue Engine," because I did a whole acting there showing you how it will look like, me coming here and trying to make money, just being a brothel, But no. Do I want Rogue Engine to make money and be profitable? Yes. But I'm not willing. I wasn't raised like that to just come here and start stealing money from you. I don't want to. I can't live with it. You see, I can't live with it. I can't do it. It's like, even if I tried, it's outside of myself. Like I'm so. It would mean for me to sort of the only way it would happen, right? Here's the thing. If I did that, I had to pull myself away, put people in front, that have to be, they will be hit all the time. And I wouldn't be in front there to confront anyone. I couldn't be in the Discord. It's just there. It's just how people would be there in the Discord just insulting me all the time for being a liar. Right? So no, that one thing I'm not going to be is a liar. And one thing I'm going to be is transparent about the things that I do, about the things that I bring to you. And I'm just going to be very specific about these things. And my beliefs and what I think about this, without being political or anything like that, because this is not about political parties or ideologies or things like. No, this is about the human condition. This is about the human condition, and that's all it really is. So the art part, right? The art part, and then the practicality and technology and just capabilities of a technology, right? It's not capable of that, right? It's about predicting the next word, right? And predicting the next word is not developing software. No, it's not what we do. No. So can it help you with predicting the next word? Yeah, it can do that for a certain extent, but then it has a limit, a very hard limit that modulates itself in all sorts of hallucinations. And you can get some really nice stuff. Not perfect. So yeah, I really want to know what you think about this. I really want to know what your thoughts are, what you think about this. I'm probably gonna come back some other time and talk about this again, because I don't know how many people are actually going to see this, and if you're actually going to get any sort of conversation started about this. And I would really like to have a conversation about this, an open conversation with people, and because I think we need to be very serious about this. And I'm talking about, some people actually believe the whole propaganda of what's going on, and they see these AIs doing things that are like magic tricks, right? It's like believing, I don't know, it's like believing Mind Freak, some people are saying, that this guy was, he's walking on water, look at that, yeah, and he believed them or something, he couldn't walk on water, it's just, people being paid for it, and then actors there. People will do stuff for money. So yeah, don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you see. And we have more people. Just now we have more people on. Just now that I finished the whole thing, we have more people on Twitch there. And welcome to everyone who joined. And yeah, I can't see. I can't. By the way, suddenly 2 more people arrived. If I'm being raided at any time, I don't know, because Restream doesn't tell me. So I'm very sorry if someone raids me at some point and I don't see it. I'm very sorry. But yeah, I recommend going back and watching the VOD, because I maybe explained it like 2 different times. I went back to it. I went back talk about art. I talk about coding, and I talked about my thoughts about it and what's coming in for Rogue Engine about, with the THREE.JS, my THREE.JS tooling, and its interaction with AI, how it's going to work, and how we have to be responsible about these things, and not just go around and spread hype. Okay, and I very much resent people doing this, spreading this hype, stupid hype things, and they're just selling books, or they're selling products, AI products. And although I will certainly sell an AI product in a way, right, within Rogue Engine, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that, yeah, this thing is going to replace. No, is it helpful for you? Yes, very helpful. Yeah, it can be helpful. Yeah, if you know what you're doing. Yeah, if you don't know anything about coding, can it actually, be a no-code tool? No, it can be a good helper to figure out how to do certain things. Yeah, but it will make mistakes. It will hallucinate a lot. It will not give you the best, because nothing can, honestly. Like, anyone who's used this for a while knows what it is, right? So it's a good way to consult documentation. It's a good way to sort of figure out how to do certain things. Help you get you jump started, get you unstuck, and do things like that. You can't write the whole game. If someone, again, I repeat, I said it like 3 times already. Someone comes in and tells me, "Oh, I built a whole game, just 5 code. This whole game of Rogue Engine doing, just writing, components. Just asking an AI for components." I'd be super surprised, and I'd be like, "Wow, great! You did something amazing." And I would be very doubtful that it could scale. You could scale that operation. You could probably now have some very good demo that you could show someone and say, "Okay, let's try to make this into an actual game now." And maybe someone else looks at that and says, "Well, this code is a mess. We have to start over." Chances of that are very high. Chances that you have to make a modification, just want to change something. It's the nature of coding, right? It's the nature of software. It's the nature of software development, not the nature of coding. It's the nature of software development. You start with an idea and you end up with another different idea. And AI is really bad at that. AI is really bad at just modifying things that it was doing without modifying things that it did right. And yeah, it's really bad at that. So yeah, I would when I'm ready to start showing what this AI agent can do and all that, I'll share with you. I'll share some things you can do. Like I said, I already wrote one component with it, like the that I published one component written with it. I wrote a bunch of them, but in my different tests. But the one I published was the one in the vehicle controller, in the vehicle controller in the Rapier physics package. That I wrote with the AI agent almost entirely. It had a couple of mistakes probably. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I did have to make a few modifications. But it was a very complex. It was a very complex component, so I didn't expect for it to work just perfectly. It's the best thing I ever got to do with AI, and if you don't know what it's doing, it's really hard to do the right modifications there. So yeah, I would say again, let's be responsible. Let's talk about these things responsibly, and let's have an honest conversation about AI. Let's have let's be very You know, let's protect artists. Let's protect artists. You know, there's a lot of people trying to sell this thing about, you know, you can just use anyone's work however you want and that's it. You know, no, if I want to use some music here, yeah, I have to pay an artist. You know, I have to, you know, I have to license it. Then why some AI company can pay billionaires, you know, with other people's work for me to just create some song and steal someone else's work? Because that's what it is. It's just stealing, right? Someone's stealing someone's work so that I can have something I want. You know, that's what it is, and that's what's going to be for tonight. I'm not going to keep going. I'm not going to keep going because I think I just went and rambled too much. I would like for people to come here, to come back to this video and see what I think about it, and yeah, and I want to be very responsible about this. And I want a real conversation to happen. I'm probably going to have at some point a better conversation about it. I would like to have someone someone talk here, someone else, and not just me, not just my voice, but someone else's voice talking about this. Probably we're gonna wait for when the AI agent is ready to show or showcase a demo, or when, you know, we have some more people you know, using it maybe or something, that we can have someone showcasing someone. I don't want to be the one showcasing it. Maybe, you know, someone else that doesn't know much about how it works showing it, you know, and saying, oh, let's try it out. I would very much like to do that live here. And yeah, but yes, thank you very much for tuning in. I thought we were going to do some game dev tonight, but yeah, no, not tonight. Not tonight. Tonight's not going to happen. We talked about a few things. We talked about features. We talked about AI. We talked about the things that we care about. We talked about the things that we can and cannot do with AI. And most importantly, I think I said what I wanted to say for a while. And we had an honest conversation about it before anything. And yeah, I think that's important. I think it's important to be in the right side of this, in the good side of this, which is in the side of, first of all, in the side of truth, right? Not in the side of lies and hype, in the side of truth and responsibility. And always in the side of artists. Always on the side of artists. Artists move the world. Artists actually create the world. We have, as humans, the capability to create worlds with our art, just with our imagination. We're actually capable of creating worlds just by thinking about them and putting them on paper, putting them on games, putting them in so many things. And artists have the craft to think about these things deeply, in a very abstract way, in a way that AI can only dream of. Well, it can't even dream, can it? Because it's just a machine. But you, as a human, these things that we do as humans, these things are the things that make us human. So replacing that is not human development. We did have those dark times when only a few people controlled the generation of art. We did have those dark times, very dark times. Do we want for those dark times to be back? Do we want to have only one source of truth that we can't really control? Do we want to demotivate artists to create? Because all we're going to get is the DNA damage art that happens from AI art feeding itself from its own creations. Is that what we want? Really? Is that the future? Is that just a bunch of crap? I don't think so. I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist. I know I'm an optimist. I think humans stand up eventually, and our need to create and our need to, to not be cringe in a way, to be genuine, to be ourselves, is going to surpass that. We're probably going to see the most bizarre sort of art coming from the depths of people, I think. And that's probably incoming. I think we'll see more artists capable of doing more things. It's just art, right? They're going to be able to put their art in more things. And but yeah, I think that's what we hopefully can see in the future. Oh, we have a question here. Let's do Google Run. It says, I actually have a question about art, specifically about adding spine animation controls to the editor. Like if I'm going to add animation control, like spine animation controls to the editor, like for 2D, you mean like 2D art, spine animation. Honestly, I hadn't thought about that. So yeah, maybe you're in the Discord, right? Maybe if you want to show me a few examples of what you're thinking there, I could get a few ideas of more or less how we could handle that. But yeah, it's I try not to step on other tools that do the job much better, right? Like for instance, if you say, okay, are you going to add like a keyframe animator for Rogue Engine? I don't know if I'm going to add a keyframe animator, because Blender does it way better than Rogue Engine. And you can create your animations in Blender and it's like, ooh, so much better, right? So should I really add animations on Rogue Engine? If you have like tools that are so much better at it and always going to be so much better at it, because say when Unity created the animator, right? Unity created this animator, and the animator of Unity is nobody uses it. You just create animations in Blender and you bring them into Unity for a reason, right? Unity is not, I can't really keep up with this animator with all the tools that actually focus on animation, right? So I don't know if I can keep up with those tools. So eventually I'll be like, on the, people are not going to use that. They're just going to use the other tool that is much better at it. And they're going to bring the stuff. So why did I even build it? That's what I mean. So maybe what you're talking about here is controls. So that's why I want to know about specifically what we're talking about here. Like what's the use case here, to know specifically, to know that I'm not confusing it with something else and just adding my own context to it. But yeah, let me know. Maybe bring the question into the Discord with some like maybe send me some examples there maybe in feature request, in the feature request thing there, and let me know there a few examples of what you're looking for there. All right, okay. We didn't have almost anyone here tonight. We had very few people. Thank you very much, Google Run, for joining. Thank you, Sean for joining. I have a lot of difficulty pronouncing Sean. I try to do it right, but it's just I keep saying Sean. I'm sorry. But yeah, thank you to the very few people who joined on Twitch. There's never anyone on Twitch, which is a shame. I mean, I hope more people would join on Twitch. But yeah, we don't ever have much people on Twitch. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for your support in this live stream. Giving me a thumbs up. Always, subscribe, follow me on Twitch. I'm trying to get to 50 followers on Twitch. We're going to be looking next time. I'm coming back on Saturday. Okay, I'm going back on Saturday. We're going to keep developing the game that we've been developing, the tower defense. We're going to be working on that. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun, as always, as we always do. And yeah, I expect to see you there for the Twitch development for the game development, for the tower defense development on YouTube and Twitch as always. Okay, thank you so much for joining, and I hope I'll see you next time, yeah, next time live, you watching, yeah, I know you watching the recording, come back live next time, I want to hear you, I want to hear you talk there, I want to see your questions there. Okay, come on back, come on in a time when I'm streaming. All right, cheers, mate.